So I just want to go over what you can expect after you're under contract and put in an offer for your home. So we received the purchase agreement from your realtor, Don Chadwell, and then we open escrow, and a title examination is done on the property so that we can see anything unusual or what we need to do to give you clear title to your property.
What are some unusual things?
So sometimes a lien may show up. If the seller or the buyer have a common name, a lien may appear on the title commitment when we do the title exam. Now, a lot of times it's not the same person, but we do have to show it on the title commitment and go through the process of clearing the lien.
So if it's not the same person, how do we get it off? Because I know, like you said, common names and stuff like that happen all the time.
Right.
How do we get that off there?
So what we'll do is, depending on if it comes up on the buyer's name or the seller's name, we'll ask for the last four of their social security number.
Okay.
With that, we can go to the lien holder and see if it matches the person named in the lien. If it does, we have to pay that off. So we'll order a payoff. We'll let the buyer or seller know that this came up, and then we'll have to pay it off to clear the title. If it's not them, we'll have them sign an affidavit, or we'll just remove it from the title commitment, depending on the circumstance.
Okay, so that sounds pretty easy.
It is
common, but kind of easy to deal with. Okay.
Other things that show up, of course, if the seller has a mortgage on the property, that's going to show up on the title commitment, and that's something we'll pay off at closing. HOA payments or liens, sometimes there's an HOA lien. If the seller hadn't paid their dues in a while, we'll pay that off at closing as well.
Water liens, stuff like that? I know we see that every once in a while. Does that show up?
Yes. So in Bernalillo County, water could show up as a lien.
Okay.
We are required to pay the water in Bernalillo County because that water bill just stays with the property.
Oh.
So in Sandoval County, the water bill is attached to the owner.
Okay.
In Bernalillo County, it's just with the residents. So we pay final water in Bernalillo County as part of the closing process.
Okay.
The other thing that may show up is marital status. That's very important. We're a community property state, so that's important for us to know if the seller bought the property unmarried and is now married. So if that comes up, then we either have the spouse sign a sole and separate agreement and just take themselves out of the picture, or they can join the person on the title, their spouse.
So how do they know what to do if that's the case? They have to come in and sign, or can they sign like that sole and separate beforehand? How does that work?
That can be done either way. We can have it, we'll prepare it, and the spouse can come in and sign, or they can do it at closing if they come to closing together.
Okay, and it doesn't matter when they do it?
Right,
just
it can happen prior or at closing.
Okay.
Same with the buyer. Marital status is important the same way. Either they're taking title individually, sole and separate, or with their spouse. So that's an important detail we need to know at the beginning of the process.
So if, like on the purchase agreement, we just have, one name, but they're married, then that other person that's not named on the purchase agreement has to sign that sole and separate. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Or join them on the purchase, right.
But if they didn't,
If they didn't sign the purchase agreement, they're probably not going to take title with them.
and it's probably because only one person is getting the mortgage.
Correct.
So when only one person is getting the mortgage, only that one person can be on the title at
Right.
that time, at signing,
At signing,
closing.
right.
Afterwards, we can get the other person put on title.
Right, they can be added to the title later.
But not to the mortgage. Okay.
Right. If the loan is set up as just sole and separate, that's the way the title will have to show.
Got it. Okay, that helps.
So we do our title exam, and then we send packages out. So we'll talk about the buyer first. We send them a package, usually by email, and it will contain the title commitment. So the title commitment is what we are the results of the title examination that we did.
Okay.
So it will show them as the proposed insured, because they'll be the new owner. It'll show how the title is vested now, which would be the seller's, and it would show any requirements necessary to clear the title. So if there were any liens, mortgages, judgments, they would appear on the requirement page, and those are the items we're going to take care of before closing.
Okay, so that the title can transfer to the new person, clean and clear and
Right.
100% theirs.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's a process we do on every transaction. So not to be alarmed if you see liens, we're going to be working on clearing them before we transfer title to the buyer.
Okay.
The other thing we include in the buyer's package is a buyer information form. So this is really important to us because it's a pre-closing information form, and it asks for marital status, it asks for last four of your social, how you're taking title, so you would have discussed this with your lender by now, if you are married and only one of you were going to be on the mortgage.
So they discuss how they're going to take title with their lender. That was a big key. The realtor can't tell you how to take title, and neither can the title company. Really, the lender is the one that can help educate you on how you have to take title. If you have questions about joint tenancy or tenants in common, you can ask us. Is there an explanation in there?
We do. We include
Okay.
that in our package. So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
I
so
didn't know
it's
that.
a ways to hold title form, and it explains all the different options you have as a married couple or
Perfect.
single. But what I mean by the lender, so that's if only one of you qualifies, the lender may suggest you take title sole and separate.
Right.
That's where I think that's what I meant by that.
Got it, okay.
But there is a ways to hold title form, and it explains all the different ways you can hold title in our state, which is a community property state.
Got it. Perfect.
So that's in the package. Of course, your privacy policy will be included. We also include wiring instructions in case you choose to wire your earnest money in.
And we'll actually probably do another really quick video on wiring instructions because there's a lot of fraud lately.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we're really clear on how to wire and when to wire. So,
Right.
yeah.
And what to watch out for.
Yes.
So those are items in the package. The other thing that's important that you'll receive is a notice to proposed insured. Now, this is regarding your title insurance policy. So when a title insurance policy is paid for either by the buyer or seller, it's just a standard policy. But we do offer additional coverages.
So wait for 1 second. What does a standard policy cover? What is title insurance?
So title insurance is ensuring that you have clear title to the property.
Okay.
That we have cleared up any liens, judgments, mortgages, and you now have clear title.
Okay.
But this additional coverage is if you have any concerns about your property lines when you see your survey, any violations or encroachments on the survey, any concerns, you may want to purchase additional survey protection. And that would insure you if anything that was on your survey was misrepresented and, any property lines are not the way they're shown on the survey.
Okay.
And then the other one is lien coverage. So if you have any concerns, the seller may have recently hired a contractor but didn't pay them, the contractor has 120 days to file a lien. So you can close today and then a lien may show up 10
4
days
months
later
later.
or whatever. Right. So we offer that. We do have the seller sign an affidavit at closing stating that any work that's been done to the home has been paid for. And then your realtor would know if any repairs were done and we received invoices, we would pay those at closing. So you would know a little bit more about any work that has been done recently on
Right.
the home.
Right.
But those are the additional coverages you can purchase. Now, the first two that we show on our form can be given free of charge if we have a survey in the package.
Okay.
So there's no additional cost for those. So those are decisions that can be made ahead of time. We ask that that's returned to us along with the ways to hold title so that we know before closing if we're going to have to charge you more for more coverage and how you're taking title.
All right, so the notice to purchaser insured on these extra title coverages, important to return, and ways to take title, so that you fill out your buyer pre-closing information sheet and get both of those back to the title company as soon as possible.
Actually, there's 3.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
3.
because
This ways to take title also.
It's also, well, that information is also on the buyer's pre-closing information, but we will
But we need
require
both.
the other one signed.
Okay.
But this is really important, so in case your name is misspelled, that really is important. It asks for your lender's information, so we know who the lender is, in case we haven't heard from them yet. That would be really helpful to have. So we like to get those back prior to closing, if you can.
As soon as possible,
Yeah,
really?
as soon as possible. And
Okay.
then, otherwise, we'll go over them in closing, because we have to have those forms completed.
Right, okay.
So that's what you'll receive by email once we have the purchase agreement and the title has been the file has been opened, escrow started, and then we'll send that out.
Excellent. And if you have any questions, you can always call me, Dawn, or
You can call me, or any of my team members can help you with filling out the forms or any questions you may have.
and what's the number to call?
994-6700, and then you can ask for Marie Cerami, Karen Costa, Christine Montoya, or Patricia Gonzalez.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.